If the idea of creating a budget from scratch feels overwhelming, trust me, you are not alone. But there is good news. Using a budgeting tool can take the pain out of tracking expenses.
Joining us this morning to break it all down is Dan Howley, the tech editor over at Yahoo Finance. So great to see you, Dan.
Good to see you as well.
So let's talk about this. It's not too late to track the spending that we do and then really begin to save in 2026. Like you're talking about some specific apps and tools like Rocket Money and some others, right?
Yeah, so you can really kind of get all these things together easily with these apps and then just be able to save so that you have money for maybe a rainy day, or if you're buying a house, or you have a kid on the way. You can have all of these things ready to go.
Yeah, so who is the type of person that actually needs something like Rocket Money?
I think anybody, right?
Literally.
I mean, so yeah, what Rocket Money does is basically it allows you to not only track your finances, but the big deal is that it allows you to find all of those subscriptions that you may have signed up for. That's, sure if you've listened to podcasts,
Yep.
You've probably heard the Rocket Money ads. But it does work. I have family members that have used it who have said that, they've been able to knock off money on their monthly bills just by getting through these subscriptions, knocking them off as well. And so they're able to do that. They can also help you in the general budget phase as well, so that you're making sure that you're not just, maybe ordering Uber Eats too much.
Yeah.
Hands up, guilty, tacos are great. And just making sure that you're, in a better financial state.
Yeah, but just real quickly, it's not free.
No, you can pay between $6 to $12 for the premium. You're probably going to have to do that just because the free version is pretty bare bones.
Limited.
Okay.
But you see a lot of terms and you're like, what the heck does that mean? So what is a YNAB and who's it a good fit for?
So that's You Need a Budget. That's another app. And basically this is, so this is basically, you can sign up and it is for people who want to get nitty gritty when it comes to budgeting, where you're going to provide a place for every dollar that you have. So if you just want to budget, right, and you don't necessarily want to get that deep, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
But if you do want to truly get a handle on every penny that you have, this is the app to do that, and you can use that and just make sure that you have all the funds that you have accounted for.
Okay, so that's YNAB. All right, give us a lowdown now, though, on SoFi Relay.
SoFi Relay is actually very good because it allows you to budget as well as look at things like if you have a stock portfolio. You're able to track those, see what's going on day to day. The other thing that it has to offer is allows you to track your real estate portfolio. So it really does give you a general idea of your net worth. And you might be thinking, well, if you have a stock portfolio, you have a real estate portfolio, you have a house or an apartment, why do you need to track your budget? Just because you have those things doesn't mean you're good at spending. So, you can have the money that goes aside for long-term savings, but on the week to week, you might not be in the best shape. So that can help you kind of figure out how to best handle that.
Okay.
Next is something called Good Budget.
So this is basically the classic envelope model of saving. So you write on the back of an envelope, kids' college fund, or on the back of an envelope, mortgage, right? And so each—
It's an app?
It's an app, and it has individual envelopes in it. So that's the idea of like kind of recreating that, physical kind of experience. And so you drop everything that you want into an envelope. The idea is once you run through that envelope, you do not spend more. So going back to Uber Eats, I don't go over that. Maybe I will on a Saturday night. Who knows? Probably will. Again, tacos are delicious. But that's the idea here, is that you're making sure that you have an individual little envelopes for each of those reasons.
Okay, what's Monarch Money?
So this is for generally households and couples who want to combine everything and see what they have together. So for instance, if you have separate accounts or you just want to get a better sense of what's going on from each spender, you can do that. And so that's really the thrust of that. And it is good for folks who maybe, you want to have your own independent account, a joint account, and then another independent account. Maybe you want to have an account for when you buy that other person gifts.
Exactly.
You don't want them to know that you got them, I don't know, a nice watch or a nice ring or something. So that's the idea there.
So these are all kind of tailored a little bit differently from the last to kind of help you pinpoint which one you want. And then lastly is Yahoo Finance, which many people are familiar with.
Yes, we have our personal finance section. You can go there, find all sorts of guides, tips about anything from the right mortgage rate to look for, what's going on with mortgage rates, the right kind of banks that you might want, things along those lines. So it's a great resource for trying to get a handle on your financial
any of these really,
independence.
I don't mean to sound curt here, dumb it down, because it can be really overwhelming when you see some of these terms and percentages and what it means. And
the good thing is that Yahoo Finance dumbs it down
Yeah.
to a degree, right? We'll give you an understanding of what's going on. I think a lot of times when people go into finance, they're either thinking, I'm already behind the 8 ball. How do I get ahead?
Yeah.
And the truth is, you just got to start.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just continuously be
It's not gonna
in
happen
that
overnight.
kind of panic, right? So once you get started, that's the best time to start.
Okay.
It's not today, tomorrow. It's as soon as you can
Yeah.
do it.
All right, Dan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff.